greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Today and tomorrow are yet to be said.
Hello everyone, No One of Consequence here, back again with a new video. This is episode 35 in a series which recounts my ongoing Dungeons & Dragons campaign, which is now in its 9th year. If you enjoy the video, please remember to hit the like button at the end. So as always, spoiler alert, I will be revealing details about this adventure module during this video. And also, as a reminder, this is the current makeup of the adventuring party. So where we left off last time, the characters were still down in the dungeon level of the hill giant fort, and they had uncovered an ancient temple that the orcs had told them was evil. And Niobe, the cleric, had gotten a little too close around the altar area, and tentacles came out of the wall and tried to grab her and pull her into the wall, but the other characters sprang into action and saved her. And when they chopped up the tentacles, then the altar itself shattered and rendered this site unusable. So next, the characters decided to return to the Hill Giant Fort's upper level, and once they got there, they found that their orc allies had departed after thoroughly looting the upper levels, and presumably they had returned to their homeland in the mountains. So the party then decided to go back and reinvestigate the Hill Giant Chieftain's conference room, where they had previously found a wall map depicting the targets of both past and future planned raids on human settlements. And Garrett, searching a desk, found a scroll tube which contained detailed instructions to the Hill Giant Chieftain on where and when he should conduct his raids, but the tube also contained a detailed map of the Hill Giant Fort's floor plan, and it even indicated a secret door in this very room. So knowing where to look, the characters quickly found the secret door and opened it, and once they did so, they saw that it open into another small room, but also another flight of stairs leading back down again. So the stairs descended into a hallway, which in turn led to a large and seemingly empty chamber. Obrak and Vera saw coins scattered on the floor along the western wall, but unfortunately, as they approached that spot, they triggered a floor pressure plate. The characters heard what sounded like a metallic grate opening somewhere in the darkness to the south, and soon a couple of manticores came charging into the room. In total, it turned out to be 4 manticores, and each of them chose a different group of characters to attack. So on the far western area, Niobe took a serious wound from a barrage of manticore tail spikes. And so she decided to try to withdraw from immediate melee so she could try to cast a heal spell on herself. And down in the center of the room, Obrak deployed a Christmas gift snowman, which would absorb some damage which would otherwise have been meant for him. Thorol ran back around the corner to shield himself from attacks while preparing to cast a spell. Meanwhile, Garrett wrapped himself up in his cloak of elvenkind and ran down into a dark corner, hoping to hide from the manticores. And Varys shouted across the room to Hammond, telling him to follow Thorol in the dark hallway to the east to try to shield himself from any attacks. So with Garrett, Hammond, and Thorol all out of view, there was suddenly concern that the Manticore nearest to Niobe might turn and attack her. And not only would this potentially disrupt her healing spell for herself, but the flurry of attacks might also actually kill her. However, at that same moment, Gorb rolled for a fumble on his attack roll against another Manticore, and Gorb's quiver of crossbow bolts went flying through the air. And as luck would have it, the quiver flew directly at the Manticore nearest to Niobe and struck it in its back and wing. So now, instead of attacking Niobe or anyone else, the Manticore spun around and began chewing up the quiver that had just landed on its back and wing. So that allowed Niobe to heal herself, but unfortunately Varys, it was his turn to receive a particularly violent flurry of attacks from a Manticore he was fighting. And when the damage was totaled up, Varys was dead. You can see him there in the upper left-hand corner. Meanwhile, back around the corner, Thorol had cast protection from normal missiles on himself. So finally, after a hard-fought battle, the Manticores were defeated, and Niobe used her Raise Dead spell to bring back Varys. So the party assumed that there must be some way to reset the trap that released the Manticores, and also that the creatures must have been placed here to guard something. So they began searching around the walls for any secret doors, and soon Obrak did in fact find a secret door leading off to the east. So Obrak and Garrett managed to safely enter the room that the secret door led to, but unfortunately Gorb triggered a pit trap just inside the secret door. It was only 10 feet deep, but it did have poison spikes at the bottom. But luckily there were only 4 spikes, and Gorb landed on the floor between them. So he took a little damage from the fall, but he was not impaled and poisoned by these poison spikes. So Varys came up and cast Floating Disc, and then stood by so that the rest of the party could use it to safely cross over the pit trap. Then Obrak, Garrett, and Gorb each opened a different chest or container. The Hill Giant Chief's personal treasure was found here in this room, and Gorb even took a Scrooge McDuck dive into a full chest of gold coins. So while the rest of the party backed up, Aramis next investigated what appeared to be a mound of yellow mold in the far corner of the room. Luckily, the mold turned out to be an illusion, and it was concealing some human-sized magic weapons tossed over there in that corner. So, of course, Gorb quickly got up there to see what was available. So that after they were finished, the characters returned to the hidden cave and loaded up all their loot onto the wagons that they had brought. And then after a 2-week overland trip back to civilization, the characters returned to Lorish in order to report on their achievements and findings, and to bank their latest gains and re-equip themselves for the next adventure. But first they decided that a celebratory feast was in order. You can see them there in the upper right hand corner of this screenshot. And unfortunately, with Varys' encouraging, the elf root smoking got a little out of hand. but in the end, everything turned out all right. All right, well, that's all I have for now. Again, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to leave a comment, share the video anywhere you think others might enjoy it. Anything you can do to help support the channel, I appreciate it. Thanks again. Bye for now.
The greatest adventure is what lies